friend of mine never wants to settle down, for he knows that eventually everyone will leave. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and years fold themselves into decades. Time will stop at some point, and so does relationship. To prevent himself from experiencing grief, trauma, and everything else which occurs along a heartbreak, he concludes that no relation, no attachment whatsoever to anyone is the best thing he can offer to those whose paths cross with his, who accidentally and coincidentally existing in his life. He never wants to leave, but he knows that he's full of limitation. His time, his space, his patience. He can never give them all to someone in the name of love and loyalty and a promise until death do his part. He is also aware that the other person might leave him first, and how will it define him? Dispensable, replaceable, temporary, boring, not worthy enough to make someone stay, forgettable, or what? He is so afraid of finding the real answer, so he once again hides and keeps his safe distance away from anyone who might get too curious about him and the kind of life he leads. And that made me question if he ever gets so lonely that he cannot bear it. He answered me, I'd rather be left alone than to be left by someone. Meeting someone and knowing that at the end I'm going to bid him or her farewell is just not my style. Loneliness is a relatively small price to pay compared to binding myself to anyone and be left alone and disappointed. That made me ask another question of how he would be able to handle it if he was to be separated from his family and his 9 siblings. To that he solemnly answered, That's why I keep my life, my business and affairs confidential and private. Nobody shall know what I'm not going to tell them. Nobody will get hurt if I don't hurt them first or the other way around. Life is much easier this way. We will die, everybody does, but to this moment I can't comprehend his decision and his way of thinking. My heart aches for the world he deems safe for himself, but seems pitiful and fragile from the outside. My heart yearns to reach for him and says, We all will die, this life will end. Isn't it better to make it worth living while it lasts, meaningful while we still have the time and opportunity? He never responded to what I said, and like how I predicted, he left. Just like that, after 10 years of friendship, he left me. He left us without any word. I still think of him from time to time, wondering if he finally accepts the fact of lifetime and relationship. I do hope he remains realistic without being bitter, sincere without any prejudice, and steadfast through the ups and downs of having family, friends, people in his short life. I do wish he will find someone who will open his heart and stay there, regardless the age, the failing health, and the vague memory. She will become a part of him and his journey. I have always concluded, and I'm certain that I'm right, that my dear ex-friend only needs one thing in this world. It's love. Love to liberate, to change, and to give hope. Love to enable him to love himself in his flaws, to love others and allow them to be present in his days. I pray that someone will give